Like every year in March, I headed to Barcelona to meet the who is who of world cannabis during the big Spannabis happening. The fair itself is the main big reason people heading over to Spain to connect with like-minded people and update on business opportunities, market access, cultivation knowledge and product innovation in this space. As the fair gets more and more crowded every year, the main business happens less and less at the oddly located exhibition center, where you can barely hear your own voice between all the reggae music and thousands of people. The new heart of Spannabis is beautiful Barcelona itself. With delicious restaurants, welcoming cafes and calming parks, the Catalonian capital offers just the right atmosphere for fruitful meeting outcomes and deep-dived thoughts. Not to forget the cannabis social clubs, which provide safe environments for cannabis testing and getting hands on the latest strains. For me personally, Barcelona never fails to amaze me with its vibrant city life on the streets and delicious food creations in world-leading tapas restaurants. So right after being spilled out the Barcelona airport, I met with a friend at the Mercat de la Boqueria to get some Mediterranean aromas on my tongue. We started with some great small talk with an Indian chief while enjoying some delicious lobster and tuna tacos. After getting the taste, it was just the logical consequence to proceed with some freshly prepared plates at the busy bar in the back right corner of the famous market hall. Living in a landlocked country, it was not hard to decide for some raw oysters for starters. Looking at these rocky creatures, flashbacks to previous feasts immediately kicked in. Respecting the Spanish love for deep-fried delicacies, the octopus meatballs made me smile while the croquetas of ham manifested the following food coma. The peak of deliciousness was ringed in by some outstanding aromatic scallops and made us order another Spanish seafood specialty, the famous ceviche. Fermented in citric acid, these pieces of fresh fish and seafood just feel so aromatic on the tongue and trigger a firework in the brain. To not order some grilled sardines to finish that protein-rich banquet would have been a poor sin, so you know what we needed to do. After a long walk through the Gothic Quarter and Gresca, it was time to check if cannabis social clubs in Barcelona got tempting again. As much as the atmosphere and the amazingly prepared fresh pineapple juice was able to impress, the quality of the offered cannabis flowers had a lot of room for improvements. Maybe it's due to the Spannabis event which spills all these cannabis people into the city, which drives up demand to annual peaks. To qualify that statement a bit more, the flowers I was able to perform a test on seemed way too early harvested, too short dried and never experienced proper curing and lacked in potency. Either way, it was nice to catch up with some good industry friends and overall feel the cannabis social club vibe, which is quite unique in the world. Props to the social club stuff, which seemed way more relaxed with me filming my scenes compared to pre-COVID years. Also, the membership in that particular club is quite cheap and valid for a lifetime. After some more social club action, meetings in not that exciting to mention restaurants and the classic sightseeing movements, my culinary highlights of this year's Spannabis trip appeared on the horizon of Day 2. Right after sunset, it was time to enter the legendary Gresca restaurant to meet with the core team of one of my current projects. Knowing these restaurants from social media cannabis legends like Turb's Army or Guest Town Fire, this venue is on my bucket list for quite some time. Not drinking alcohol, I knew I would not be able to feed on the full potential of that super locally sourcing specialty restaurant. Following the praising words of my fellow colleagues, The assortment of Catalonian bubble, red and white wine must have been a pure pleasure to sip on. Nevertheless, sticking to their crystal clear water, I was able to enjoy the pure taste of their great food servings. Starting with a cured beef, which was definitely not part of my imagination of food that actually exists, my taste buds already signaled to my brain it's time to show some excitement and elevate into heaven of deliciousness. Paired with their great tomato bread, it was hard not to melt down under the table. Excited for the next course, expectations got exceeded by that classy marinated fresh anchovy, which was just right to the core. Shiny, oily, chivy. After granting us a smoke break, the super friendly waitress served us Gresca's winter salad, which was just a poem. Followed by artichokes with truffles and parmesan, we understood why this restaurant is featured in the guide Michelin. Counting all these sauces on their stove, this is definitely one of the best we were able to test. After all these starters, it was time to get something in our bellies. Picking standard meals in high-end restaurants is always a good decision, and similar to the marinated anchovy, they mastered the grilled chicken with flying colors. Having a look into their kitchen, I was amazed with how much love these artists grill their meat on the charcoal. The second meat dish we got surprised with was the sweetbread with garnished beans. Growing up in Germany, I never experienced heady meat in a restaurant. The Gresca has a lot of brain and innards on their menu, and oh my dear, were these pieces delicious. To complement the super fine dinner, we ordered the truffles artichoke with its outstanding sauce for another time, and got our sweet teeth satisfied with some chocolate cake, tasting like a married couple of mousse au chocolat and cocoa powder. Coincidentally, this was not my last encounter with the Gresca during Spannabis. 2 days later, one day after seeing these kids having their time of their life, I was aiming for some lunch at a fairly crowded restaurant. Not willing to spend my time in a rather long queue, I decided to give the Gresca another try at lunch. I got placed right at the kitchen area, which made it possible to get these outstanding insights into their work and also chat a bit with their artists. This time I had the chance to feed on their grilled kale, which is nominated as my all-time favorite at Gresca. You really should hope they have this on their menu when you're heading there. Also, the grilled oyster was a welcomed complimentary dish to my first experience here. But what really impressed me in an unexpected way was their interpretation of cabbage. I cannot remember eating such a soft cabbage. Again, poor art. I don't know if it's just me, but as a seasoned cook at home guy, I always struggle to get a nice aubergine meal besides baba ganoush. So please, Gresca guys, what's your secret behind that awesome aubergine? Back to the basics, I should not finish that video without ever mentioning their version of a ham and cheese sandwich. Thin sliced and toasted between two surfaces of metal, this piece of art should be on everybody's order when visiting Gresca. That's it guys, that's it from today's episode of Research Gardens. This time we might have been a bit more focused on the munchies. So please thank us later in the comments when we saved your next Barcelona trip, at least from a culinary point of view. In case you're traveling to Barcelona with cannabis in your mind, my favorite cannabis social club is the NPK, which I was not be able to visit this time. The social clubs featured in this video were the RDM and the Hasher, two clubs I also can highly recommend. What makes the NPK special is definitely its outdoor space with a Land Rover, a lot of plants and a real waterfall. Cheers and see you next time.